Hey guys, what is up? This is Max Davis, me once again. Welcome back to another movie review, aka After I Saw. This time is going to be on Lilo and Stitch live action. Now, before I get into it, if you saw my previous two videos, you'll know that I said that I wasn't going to be able to see this or Mission Impossible until next week because I'm currently in Georgia right now. Well, yes, I did say that, but turns out it was a lie. I mean, I didn't see Mission Impossible yet. I will be seeing that next week. I can guarantee you that, probably like on Wednesday or something. But I wasn't sure if I would even be able to squeeze one of these in, just due to the fact that, you know, yesterday was going to be a big day for me, and I was worried something might happen, but it went way better than I expected. So today, I decided because of that, I was able to squeeze one of these movies in. I decided to choose Lilo and Stitch because it's an hour shorter than Mission Impossible, so yeah, I figured why not. So yeah, Lilo and Stitch live action is, of course, you know, the latest live action Disney remake, because that's a rule for every single animated Disney classic now. It has to be live action. If you don't know the story of Lilo and Stitch, it's very simple. A little blue creature from outer space travels to Hawaii by accident, and he is chased down by his creator and his new sidekick. And Stitch decides to hide out and pretends to be a dog, and he gets adopted by a little girl and her big sister. And throughout the film, he seems to be a destructive little monster, but soon learns the importance of Ohana, which of course means family. It is impossible in this current age to go into a store and not find at least one piece of Stitch merch. I honestly feel like it is much more common to find a store without any milk in it than it is to find a store without a piece of Stitch merch in it, because Stitch is everywhere. Every single piece of merchandise, every single piece of like anything, like you see Stitch everywhere now. Even my sister is a big fan, and yeah, and I have a soft spot for Stitch as well. So yeah, I could have used this for a skit, but I am on vacation right now, so I don't really want to do anything too crazy with my videos, so I am just gonna have them in the video. So just in case this movie was bad, I added something in to make up for that. What can I say about live action Disney remakes? Most of them have just been shameless cash grabs, despite the fact that I have been pretty nice to them in the past and have started becoming one of those people that have pretty much gotten tired of these, and they've just gotten worse and worse and worse. Pinocchio, just, oh, I still can't. And of course, let's not forget Snow White, which bombed so hard that I was laughing so hard when I saw that Sinners has been doing far more successful at the box office and showing that there is still hope. Yeah, I know there was also Minecraft making a lot of money, but I don't care for that movie. Now, let me get the obvious question out of the way first. Yes, it is better than Snow White. It is far more easier to get through than Snow White. Not by a whole lot, but it's not as painful as that. Now, before I get into the movie's big issues, let me talk about what does work. By far the best aspect of this entire thing, and I feel like is supposed to be the best aspect, is Stitch himself. He looks fantastic. His CGI counterpart from his animated counterpart looks really convincing. Well, not convincing, I mean more respectful. Because when it comes to character redesigns in live-action Disney movies, Disney just tries to make them look too realistic and less cartoony, and they just look absolutely horrendous. I mean, there have been a couple exceptions, but I feel like Stitch is by far one of their most respectful designs to be created into live-action form. And what makes it even better is that Chris Sanders, who is not only the director of the animated movie, but also the voice of Stitch. And I felt like if they got a different voice actor, it wouldn't be nearly as good. But yeah, easily the movie gets a 5 out of 5 just for Stitch alone. But as for the rest of the movie, well, I'm not quite done with my positives yet. The heart of the movie is definitely still there. I mean, the Ohana aspect is still there, and they do try to do something to separate apart to have us connected a little bit more despite it being live action, which I felt like could have worked had it been animated, but I kind of respect what they went for, even though it did end up being pretty predictable during one specific aspect. Also, the relationship that Stitch and Lilo have together, it's touching, it's cute. Knowing that there's a live-action version of Lilo and her connection with live-action Stitch, it was nice to see. It's pretty much every little girl's dream to have a little Stitch in their life, despite the fact that Stitch is much smaller than Lilo, than how they looked in they were almost the same size in the animated movie. But should I really compare it to the animated movie that much? However, because this is yet another live-action Disney movie, it has aspects that definitely don't make you want to rewatch it nearly as much, or at least not make me want to rewatch it as much, or many other people want to rewatch it as much as the animated version, because, again, what made that original film so endearing was just how it manages to balance humor and emotion at the same time, of how, it brought in, the good in, a creature like Stitch, the fact that there was a lot more to him than just being a chaotic monster, and also having elements of family mixed in, showing that no matter where you come from, you can always find that family in your life. That's what made it so good, and because it was animated, we were able to connect. But because this is in more of a live action form, it's hard for us to, fully connect to that. Just one of the biggest problems with the live action, you know what, I'm calling it live action. I don't care what anyone says. It's supposed to, what am I going to call it? A Lion King, of course. The problem with that is because the facial expressions just feel so dead inside, we can't connect to them nearly as much as we did in the animated version. That's the problem with most of these remakes. They also have elements of, having explanations to certain aspects that we don't really need. This film doesn't really have it as much, but it still doesn't feel necessary. Now, I respect it for trying to do changes, because it did start off shot for shot, and there are some moments of shot for shot. But when it comes to some of these changes, they're either, it was a good try, but there are also some other changes. Probably the biggest thing is some of the characters. They have different changes to them that I do not think work. Bubbles, I thought wasn't even going to be in the movie, though I didn't see much of the trailers. He is in the movie, but the way they handled his character was kind of confusing and kind of odd, and it was something I did not understand at all. Also, probably the biggest character downgrade, in my opinion, is Jumba and Bleakley. Now, they did have a few chuckles for me, but what really ruined it for me is the fact that they have human versions of themselves. Clone human versions of themselves. I don't know if it was to save money or something, but we really don't need to see their voice actor counterparts play their roles, because, it didn't really have any bits of humor in them that I thought was remotely enjoyable. It just felt really odd. And probably the biggest offender of this is Jumba. Now, this may be a spoiler. I'm just going to warn you right now, just in case you haven't seen the movie yet. So, first of all, Gantu's not in the movie. He is not in the movie whatsoever. They don't mention him. He is 100% absent from this movie. If that's the case, who's the villain? And this is something I do not understand. It's Jumba. Jumba is the bad guy. So, okay, Jumba's the villain. And here's the thing. No disrespect for Zach Galifianakis. I will always prefer Jumba having that accent because it brings him more to his character, but I'm sorry, the way they portrayed him as him being the bad guy, I just don't understand why that was needed. Why not just have Gantu? I know they probably have their reasons. Somebody probably already knows. If they're probably going to type in the comments, but I just don't understand why that had to be a change. And, I mean, come on, there was an animated TV series where they crossovered with so many different Disney Channel shows, and they portrayed him as one of the good guys the entire time. Hell, him and Bleakley were living with Lilo and Stitch in their house. I guess the more praises I can give, I mean, their designs, they're respectful enough. All the character designs are actually not too bad, believe it or not. And again, Stitch is great. He's very entertaining, and because it mostly focuses on him, because it's something we connect with. Because when it comes to the live-action versions of Nani and all the other characters, we connected with them a lot more as animated versions. But the actors, I can't really say were bad. They were fine for the most part. At least they're not going out there saying the classic version is outdated, we don't need that anymore. This is the true upgrade version because, screw the classics. Of course, I'm referring to what Rachel Zegler said, even though she gave a decent performance in her role as Snow White. But I'm just saying, by the end of the movie, it's again, another one of those movies where after I'm done watching the movie, if I wanted to watch it again, I'll just watch the animated version because it's shorter and it has moments of filler that just weren't needed. And I did watch the original version before seeing this movie. I watched it on Blu-ray. Why? Because I've had that Blu-ray before Disney Plus even existed. And hey, Zootopia 2 is coming out, so I'm gonna watch the 4K of that because I have the 4K, but that's beside the point. All I'm saying is, when it comes to these live-action remakes, once I'm done watching them, I just know I'm gonna go back to them. And even though I have pointed out some major problems I have with the movie, by the end, I didn't hate it. Yes, some of the changes made no sense. Yes, it doesn't nearly have that same impact of emotion that the original version had, but it's more bearable for me to get through than something like Snow White or Pinocchio or Lion King, because at least it has Stitch, and we all love Stitch. In the end, guys, Lilo and Stitch, I feel like it got half of the things right. It's definitely one of the more bearable remakes that I was able to get past despite some of these changes. It still has the heart. There are often times where it does try to be faithful, but there are often times where the changes just don't do much to bring it any more justice. But even if it did do most of its stuff right, which, like I mentioned before, I felt like only did half of it, it still wouldn't hide the fact that I'm just going to go back to the original. So yeah, I didn't hate this one. I enjoyed myself fine watching Stitch on screen because they pay respect to the character. They don't change his character up whatsoever. He still has that same adorable, chaotic nature that we all know and love. It has its heart. The actors are trying once in a while, but it has changes that just make you want to go back to the original, just like every other live-action Disney remake out there. Also, Elvis does not play a big part in terms of, just, I mean, there are some elements of that, and plus, they do have most of the soundtrack back, but, yeah, by the end of it, I was just all like, I'm gonna try doing this as Stitch voice, but I know I'm gonna fail badly at that.
Whatever.
My god, see, this is why I didn't do a parody, because I cannot do a good Stitch impression, so, yeah, this is why I'm happy Chris Sanders reprised this role, because if someone else were doing his voice, it probably would not work. But, hey, it is what it is. But chances are this movie's probably going to do very well, and that kind of scares me because Snow White did poorly, and that should be sending a message. But if this movie does well, yeah, they're probably going to go back to live action because, hey, I would like to see more Stitch. Maybe another animated series like that I would have liked to have seen rather than a live action version, but again, I didn't hate it. Now, before I end the video, I do have a big video planned for my Atlanta trip. You see I bought my Bluey poster with me. Well, there was a big reason that I bought that with me. I'm not sure if you can see, but there are some scribbles on there. There was a big reason why there are scribbles on there. Yeah, you could probably, I'm not sure if you can see it from here, but yes, those definitely are what you think they are. It's the whole reason I even came to Georgia and MomoCon, which is the con I went to. But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll look forward to that video real soon. And again, I still have that massive tight schedule of more videos I gotta make. I mean, when I get home, I gotta watch the next episode of The Last of Us. But yeah, anyways, enough of the chatter. Let me end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and maybe subscribe for more. You can also follow me on Twitter or Instagram or maybe Blue Sky. Give me a follow if you can. Links in the description below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Word out.